Thank you so much for joining. I see Terry is here and Dana, Laurie. Hi, Hazel. Hi, Barbara. Valerie. Hi, guys. Hope you're doing great. Cecilia's here. And I see Carol. Hi, guys. Thank you for being here. Today's really fun. I'm going to probably dive in pretty quick. It's got a lot of steps. There is a PDF, and I'll drop you the link for Colleen's here in the chat with us, and she'll drop a link for our PDF and documents. But the design is a brick stitch bracelet with a gemstone focal, because that's going to have beautiful gems from Sam's Bead Shop, and it looks really cool when you're wearing it. Isn't that neat? It's a really cool design. And I just really love how everything's stitched together so nicely. It's just really, really fun. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I have several in-process samples so we can jump ahead and jump through steps. The PDF is here, and what you'll find in the PDF is just a little bit of how-to for putting it together. And of course, there's the full brick stitch pattern. There's page 2, just showing you how to do the button side. And here we are to the pattern. So your pattern's here, and what you're seeing there is the bands. The bands are constructed very similar to how you would do fringe on a brick stitch earring. So it's very, very close. And in fact, if you're loving that brick stitch earring with fringe design, boom, done. So you could also do that. And then here I break it down for you. What is the brick stitch section, and what is the band section? So that's on DanielleWickesJewelry.com, patterns and tutorials, and you can find it there. And then really quick, I was going to show you how to shop. I do have the page open for Sam's Bead Shop. So everything I'm using today is a Sam's Bead Shop product. I've got gorgeous sorbet, summer sorbet mix, 80 Miyuki. That's the main thing. And then I've got a Green Girl Studios button, and they've got loads of these buttons. So you can always swap out your button, add something different. And I've got a bag full of gemstones. So probably the easiest way to show you all that is to bring my screen up here and just give you a quick look at their page. So the link to bring you here is in the description to this video if you're watching this later. And then if you're here with us live, Colleen's been dropping links in the chat for you. But what you're seeing here are all the gorgeous buttons. I am using the seahorse in a reel next week, so heads up on that. And there's all these beautiful, I like this wave one, so cute. There's the summer sorbet mix. And here's one of the gemstones that I'm using in the center focal. And there's a few others that I will label for you. They're currently adding to this. So if you check back here on Monday, you might find more gemstones added. All right, I'm going to just switch back. Okay, so I'm going to switch to my camera that looks at my mat so you can see all the details, and feel free to drop any questions you have about this design or the materials in the comments, and I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for it. So here we go. Just going to switch my camera. All right. So here's an up-close view of the design. Those are my little ready to goes. But the basic construction is a brick stitch section of this little medallion. And then you add what is essentially fringe strands. They're joined with a ladder stitch at the end. And then on one side, I created a loop for my button. And that's freestyle. You can add or subtract beads to that. It's a great way to adjust your length when you're finished. And then on this side, I made a button loop. And I'll share all the counts for the button loop in the PDF. It kind of tapers down in a brick stitch fashion so that it has 2 beads. And I can actually probably just show you that right here. You'll finish your bands, and then you'll brick stitch 3, and then brick stitch 2, and then loop, picot, and loop. So what I'm going to do first is just show you with a darker colored thread so you can see what I'm doing, the brick stitch start. And then we'll switch to one that I have done, and we'll start building those bands. So you're going to want about, the length of thread that I was using initially was about 65 inches or so, or a wingspan, you could say. I'm using 6-pound Fireline. I do recommend using crystal. So if you want to use crystal, your beadwork will have the thread not as pronounced. but I'm going to use this color today so you can see the stitching really well. I'm using a size 10 beading needle. And then I flatten the end of this so that it will fit my needle easier. It's easier for me to thread. And then just fold over some length of that there. And there you go. All right, and so all we need for now is some of the seed beads and our pattern. I'm going to show you what is called a single column peyote start. And the way it works, let's bring our pattern over. And really, you could do this from any of the rows, guys. Like you could start from this row or from this row, or if you could start in the middle. Just for the ease of having my tail in the right place for the next steps, I'm going to start here and work these 2 rows. So rows 1 and 2, I'm going to work those with single column peyote because it's a faster way to get your brick stitch going. You basically can finish your rows 1 and 2 in just like one swoop. It's really nice. But what you'll need to do is to pick up the beads in the right order just to get started. And so I'm going to bring my thread through a color A, through a color A, string a color E, and then go back through the color A. And then I'll pick up a color A and go through the E, pick up a color B, go through the A through the B, E through the A through the E, A through the A, and I'll be over here, having finished that whole thing there. So to start, color A is this really pretty turquoise. I tried to match the colors in the picture as close as I could. There's a darker blue, and that's your color E. And it's got like an AB silver lined finish to it. String that down and make sure you leave that tail that's at least 15 inches or so, or it's going to be used to create the bands. And let me show you really quick what I mean by that. 15 to 20 inches. I think I wrote 15 on the handout, but just make sure you've got enough to start making bands with. So there's those 3 beads. Go back through the first color A and just kind of pinch everything to hold it in place. And you can pull your working and tail thread apart. And you'll get this peyote stitch start. Looks like that. And that's what you're going for. So we'll just pick up the next bead, which is also a color A. Go through the color E and pull to tighten. So now you'll have that. And our next color is a color B, which is, I made it a darker red in the pattern, guys. It's actually this color-lined pink. And so the color-lined pink is a hair lighter in shade than what is essentially the color C, which is a galvanized pink. So they're both pink, but in the handout, it's red just for clarity. So we're going to go through that bead. And then another color A. Back through the one you just added. Here's another one of those color E, the blue, and a color A. And then one more color A to finish the row. And that's all there is to it. There's your brick stitch start. And if you use the single column peyote method, you have rows 1 and 2 done just instantly like that. Before you move on to doing anything else, go ahead and reinforce that by going through and just looping through. And in our case, we'd like to bring our working thread to exit from the 2nd row. So I'm going to weave up through the 3rd bead in so I can make this little turn here. Go down and then up. And that brings my thread exiting from the top bead in that row 2. And then before you do anything else, if it'll save you a little effort here at the end of this first brick stitch row that we're going to do, if you go ahead and flatten the tail side, pop a needle on the tail side, And then just reinforce this. We're already exiting from the bead we want to be exiting from. But just head up through this bead right here. And then just immediately make that turn and just head back out through that one. And what that does is it takes the thread bridge over here and makes sure it will stay tight when we try to brick stitch onto it later. And if you want, you can just leave that tail with its needle. We're going to come back to that and attach our, but in this case, it'll be the button loop side. So there's that. So let me show you a few rows of brick stitch and then we'll jump ahead to one that I've got ready. You don't have to watch me do the whole thing. It's the same kind of concept repeating. So the next row in your pattern is going to be this one. So we're going to work increase start and an increase end. Starting with color A and color D, which is this galvanized teal. Bring that under the first thread bridge there. And then up through the second bead. And that naturally creates an increase for you. So that's how to increase at the start of a row. And I'm going to finish the rest of this row to the end. There's the next color. Next color. And this is just one bead per thread bridge, and I just worked to the next thread bridge for each bead. I just used the last thread bridge to create that attachment, and I need to add one more bead because my pattern shows one more color A at the end. So pick up one color A, and just go under that thread bridge, the same one that you had the last bead in. And stick with me here for a second. I'm going to show you in kind of an alternative method to keep brick stitch really flat. So sometimes people will do this. They're under the first thread bridge there, last thread bridge, and they'll just come up through this bead. And that's where we want to be. But it tends to make the edge of your brick stitch work bent. So it causes it to have like a little wave to it. There's a way you can get around that. You can just go through that second bead again, right? And it's the one we just went down. And then you'll go ahead and go and weave around. And do this with light tension. And there's more than one way you could do that path, but the goal is just get yourself back to that bead. And see, it keeps it really flat, meaning flat this way, without creating kind of like a little pucker between these two beads, which tends to happen in brick stitch a lot. So from here, you're just going to create the rest of your brick stitch pattern. For us, we have 2 more increase rows. And then there's a row that starts with a decrease and ends with just one bead in that last thread bridge. So what I thought I would do is just quickly show you a decrease, straying from the pattern a bit, but just to get you a visual of that. So you don't have to watch me do an entire brick stitch. It's really the same, same process. But to do a decrease, you would pick up the beads that are called for in that row, and you'll want to pick up 2 and go under the second thread bridge. So remember, with an increase, we were going under the first. This one, we're going to go under the second because this is a decrease. And then you can go through the second bead there. And you'll get something that looks like that. And that side bead will kind of sit a little bit wonky. You can go back through it and then back through the second bead. And it'll straighten that out for you, just like that. And so if you're carrying on through the row 1, 1, 1, and 1 for each of the bridges that remain there, you'll get a decrease row at the start and the end. So that's how to do it. That's how to finish up a brick stitch design. I'm going to set that aside. And when you get all of that done, you'll have this. And there's a finished one. And in this, in the handout, it tells you basically to do this twice. So I have one ready to show you the button side. And here I'm going to show you how to make the bands on this one and the button loop. But the pattern tells you to do all of this twice. And then at the end, we're going to join it using those 15-inch tails. That's what those 15-inch tails are going to be used for on each of these sides to connect our gemstone focal. All right, and so from here, here's how to make the bands. Just take your pattern, and you can use this page, or if you like this page better, you can go with this page, whichever one you prefer. And you'll want to string 3 color A. And let me show you on this one. It's a little easier on this one to separate the brick stitch because this will be your last row of brick stitch. But if you look at this one, you might think that it's 4 beads. But keep in mind that is a row of brick stitch right there. So that's why I included this extra page just so it makes a little more sense. That said, if you did 4 here, it would still be beautiful. So you can actually do as many beads here as you want. Also, this is your opportunity to change the length. So you can get different lengths for your design, but still have the same center. But I'll stick with what I did on the original here. And we'll go with this cute little pattern. That's the little center pattern there. And then 2 more color A. And I ended with 3 of the blues. So far you have that. And what you want to do to start band 2 is pick up 2 of color E and go back through the 2 from band 1. And when you tighten that, you'll get a little square that looks like that. And if you want to reinforce that, you can. So go through those 2, back through the 2 in band 1, and now make another turn so that your needle is heading that way, heading back towards the brick stitch. And you guessed it, we're going to string that pattern. So 2 color A from the mix, 1 of the galvanized pink, 1 of the color lined salmon, galvanized pink, and then 3 of the color A, which is that luster turquoise. And then here at the brick stitch section, you're going to head through the second one in. And there you go. Oh, I missed a bead. Sorry about that. You'll see it right away because you'll get something like that. Apologies to all of you guys out there in the chat who are like, hey, you missed one. It's easy to do. Okay. So which one? Oh, I forgot to add that one, and that one. And there's my 3. Okay. And then back through the 2 there. So this is your chance to just take a look at it and make sure it all measures up just like you like it. Let me bring my lamp over, guys. Sorry about that. I feel like it's really dark here on the mat. All right, we're going to turn and head through the 3rd bead in the brick stitch row. And just really quickly, oh, I missed another bead. You see it? Oh, I am not on my game today. Where's the missed bead, guys? Oh, I forgot the blue one. Oh, man. It's back at the top, too. Okay. Apologies. You know what I'm going to do just for brevity? I'm going to just add it now so we get the same height, but don't sweat it. It's going to look a little weird, but there we go. The bead I should have added up there. I just put it there. Okay. Don't want you guys to have to watch me restring it. So let's get the 3. That one. And then 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Or actually, that's supposed to be 2 there, and 3. So that's the correct sequence. Ignore my mistake there. String that down. And so when you get to the spot right here, what you're going to want to do is ladder stitch the last 2 to these 2 to the last two on that side. And so you'll get that. And then you'll pick up two more and ladder stitch those to these two. Reinforce it if you'd like to. And then string your pattern back. Oops, two of those. Oh, don't forget your first blue one, then the two. Then it's the pinks, the teal. And again, feel free to make your own pattern. You're not stuck with this one. And there we go. Is that right? And three. You want three of those. Color A's. Hey, Carolyn. All right. And then you just head through the fourth bead. So apologies, I just have a little hiccup in my pattern on that second strand because I didn't get the counts right, but I didn't want to unstring it. But essentially, that's the path. That's what you do is you string one, then you add the first two of the next one in ladder, string back, make a turn in the brick stitch, string the new one, ladder the new one to the former, then create a ladder for the fourth one and head down. Make those any length you want, any pattern you want. From here, we're going to make a turn. So just go down through one of the beads in the next row in your brick stitch design, and then head up through an adjacent, and then go through the bead in the brick stitch row that's at the edge and all of those beads in the band. Just get through all of them. And from here, we're going to create the button loop. And I went ahead and gave you all of the counts for the button loop right here. So before you do the button loop, we're going to have to taper it down. The easiest way to do the taper down is to just create a brick stitch on top. So I'm going to pick up two beads, and I'm going to create a decreasing row on these four here. So go under the second thread bridge, which in this case is just the middle one. And then head up through that second bead. Feel free to do the reinforcing so that it sits flat. Tighten that up. And then just grab one more bead and go under the last thread bridge. Pull that tight. And then head up through the very last one. So now we've tapered it down to 3. We're just going to do that one more time, tapering down to 2. So let's pick up those 2 beads, go under the second thread bridge. There are only 2, so we're just going through that second one. Bring our needle up through the bead, the second bead. And again, you're going to get that little kind of wonkiness there. No problem. Down through the bead. And then up through the first one, or second one in that case. I like to just take my thumbnail and hold it while pulling a little bit on the thread. And that tapers it down to a point. So the button loop pattern I did was 3 of these color E. And then I did 2 of the teal, the galvanized teal, which was, if I recall correctly, that one was color D. And then I did C. And I believe this one was color B. Yeah, C, B, and C. 2 of the D. And then 1 of the E. So that's what we've got so far. And again, that's all just all of this right here. So these beads here. Now we're going to do a picot. Picots are really easy. I made it separate just to kind of highlight what's happening here. It's all worked with color E. So just slide that down and pick up 4 of your color E beads. So here's 1, 2, 3, and 4 of those. Slide them down. And what you'll want to do is go back through the 4th one, heading in the opposite direction. And when you pull tight, the other beads, let me separate this out from the strand so you can see, but basically what it's going to do is it's just going to form a little picot like that. And if we tighten it down to meet our strand, we end up with something that looks like that. It's a cute little tail. It's a way to do fringe too. So it's kind of easy. Now repeat back the same button loop counts. And this is where I'm challenged, so I'll just have to follow the pattern the best I can. I'm bad at following my own patterns. And here we go. There's those 2. And then let's go with center focal, 2 more teal, and 3 more of those dark blue, color E. String that down. This is a chance to look at it and see if I made any errors. And that looks okay. Head through this bead here. And there's your button loop. Feel free to adjust that for other buttons. If you're using a different green girl button, you might need to make that count different, but the same process will work. And that this spot is a great spot to test it. You can put it on your button and see if it works before you do any weaving in. The weaving in is incredibly easy. You just go and reinforce by switching right back, make a turn right there, and then just head through all of these beads. Get through as many as you can in one swoop and then just go back in. There we go. When you get to the picot, a couple things you can do. You can skip the picot and head to the other side, but I actually like to go through it. So what you'll do is you'll head through that first bead, loop around the picot bead here. 1, 2, 3. Make sure you head back through the 4th part of the picot bead and then through the other side of your button loop. And hey, look at that. I got through it all in one swoop. And feel free to reinforce that in additional time if you want to. 3 passes is really good. Button loops take a lot of pressure. But once you feel like it's woven in enough, bring your needle down through the brick stitch part. And then just choose any band you want. Go through it. And you'll get to the brick stitch section where you can do some weaving in. So that's how to do that side. Here's my other band. And I'm going to pop a needle onto it. And I'm just going to show you how to attach a button. Oh, and let me get my button really quick. Here he is. I'll leave some of those gems out too. I'm going to need them. So this is a Green Girl Studios button. And again, the link to find all these cute buttons is from Sam's Bead Shop. It's in the description. And if you're watching live, there's links in the chat. It'll take you there too. So I'm going to put on a needle here. And where we are on this side is I completed steps 1 and 2. And actually, let me show you in the handout. You'll repeat steps 1 and 2. And then we're going to make just this little loop. So instead of creating the button loop like we did on the first side, we're going to just create a connection for our button. And the counts on it are really easy. And if you're not already exiting from the top of that edge, just get yourself back there. And you'll pick up 1E. And then I'm going to need a few more of these. We're running a little short. And then I wanted the teal ones, 2 teal ones actually. And then it looks like I just went with all pink. So 1, 2. So I got to that. Feel free to make this longer if you'd like, shorter if you'd like. Go through your button. There's really no rules here for how long you can make this loop. It's still going to work. The cool thing is this button, the shank on it is smaller than the seed bead. So your seed beads, wherever you put them, this is going to stay in position. It's going to stay centered for you. It's really nice. I'm picking up 2 more of the color teal here, and then 1 blue, 1 dark blue, color E. So we have that. And I'm just going to skip over all those and head through. And there you go. Locks it right on there for you. To reinforce it, very easy. Head through the laddered row. So you're going to go up and down. And then here at the other side, up. And you're right back where you want to be. Get through all the button and all those pretty beads. There we go. Thinking about it. All right, and so make that reinforcing path. Up, down, up, one more time. And then weave in. You can bring your strand just like we did on the other one. Just bring it down through one of the bands. It looks like I made my counts a little longer on this one. Forgive me for that. This was experimental, so I was playing with the pattern. Just like you can. You can play with this count. It's going to look really pretty no matter what counts you use. And so for now, I'm just going to bring that into the work and set it aside. You'd want to weave that in completely. Let's bring our pieces over. And what you'll have is 2 components, and they're each going to have a 15-inch tail. Thanks, Carolyn. Each of those will be, I know I should have used a darker color, but it really does look better with crystal. Trust me, it's really pretty. Let me show you, just put my finger under it. So there's my 2 tails, each coming out of a side. It doesn't matter which side you start with, just pick a side, any side. Pop your needle onto it. And there is a gemstone pattern that I went with, but you can use any pattern you want. What I did for the handout is I just took a picture of it, and then I wrote them in the order that I strung them. There'll be a total of 4 strands, and here's how you connect them. And what I did really is I took one side, the working thread from one side, and I created them all. Then I used the tail from the other side to reinforce it. Go through all of them again, weave in, and you're done. So let's start with this one. I'm going to get a fire polish bead. And then this is a Spinel cube, but feel free to use any gems you've got. This is where you can just really go crazy with gemstones that you love. And this is a bicone, a crystal gemstone bicone. Here's candy jade. And then I just repeated that back in reverse. So there's the, let's see if I have any more. Oh, I need more Spinel. One second. Got a few more of those here. Look at this strand, guys. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I'm gonna need a few of those. So let's just get a few out. I'm chasing them around the mat here. There's Spinel, and then there's my fire polish bead. So that was the pattern I liked, but oh my goodness, you could do any colors you want, really. There's no rules here. You could put really big beads too, because check it, they fan out. And so you get this big pop like of decor. Like it's just really neat. And when you're wearing it, it looks really cool when you're wearing it. So once you've got whatever you're doing there strung, head through the first bead corresponding on the other element there and bring that down. So you'll have them connected now. And then just turn, head through the adjacent bead in that row, that top row. And make sure it's, pretty tight. It doesn't have to be crazy tight. Just pull it so there's no gaps on either side. String the same thing again. So let's get our fire polish Spinel. Here's our bicone. Candy Jade. Bicone. And these are so sparkly and pretty. Woo. So there's that pattern again. I'll be heading through the second bead on the other side. And there's that one. Up and through this side. And we'll repeat that. I need more of the, this really is the fun part. And you see it with your own gems and your own colors. Just all your own ideas like really come to shine. One of these is open already. I'm going to go with that one. There we go. It's the coolest color. So fire polish. Cube. I'm wondering if I should have put maybe the bicones on the other side. So it would go fire polish, bicone, spinel, but they kind of graduate up in size. So these were just a little bit bigger. I'll get some of those. And there's the Candy Jade again. Oh, want one of those. And there we go. The third bead here. Just that third one there. Making a turn to exit from the fourth. There it is. So pretty. Okay, last one. And sorry for the stringing step. There was no way to really speed this one up in process sample, you know. But the good news is it's actually really quick. Does it look right? Yeah. Okay. And you just head back through the fourth bead on the brick stitch side. So there you go. Now you've got all of those put together. And you can kind of weave that in now with the rest of that thread on that side. Then take your tail thread that you left from the other side. And let me just show you real quick what you do with that. Flatten and needle. And here, all you need to do is just go through. So I'm going to go through this strand. And then through the brick stitch bead right there, turn and head all the way back through the strand. Turn into any of those little gems through that brick stitch right there. Aw, thank you, Suze. Thank you, Cecilia. Oh, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I hope this inspires you. This is just kind of a, it was a launching off of the little brick stitch center focal I was doing the other day. I had all these gems in front of me and I was like, well, how can I do that but with gems in it and have them be the star of the show in the center? That's how this one came to be. But I really feel like it can be so many things. Like you could have so many different kinds of designs here in the center. You could even string a button here in the center and have several of the strands go through it. I think that would be really cool. But yeah, so what will eventually happen is you'll end up with your tails. Each of them will be back on their own side, but having gone through the strands once. If you feel like it needs more reinforcing, you can go for it. But to weave in, all you really have to do, same on both sides, just take your strands, your tails, and go through a few beads. And then make some turns. And really, if you just make 3 turns, you'll have it. You'll have a good weave in and you can just trim it. So this is like my 3rd turn there. And I'll go through a few more beads before I trim it. Maybe one more. And then you can either use a thread burner, or if you have flush cutters are great for Fireline. You can press down with the flush cutters and pull up with the thread and then just trim. Or a thread burner is also a really great way. So there it is. I would need to just repeat that with my strand on the other side. And eventually you'd have, when everything's all woven in, this beautiful gorgeousness right there. That's all you got to do. So thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you. So I was thinking that we actually did so great on time. I wasn't expecting, I thought that was going to take me much, much longer. I was worried I wouldn't make it in the hour, so I'm kind of surprised. But how about questions? Do you guys want me to show more of the brick stitch part? I kind of hustled through that thinking I needed to finish it quickly. But if you'd like to see more of constructing that, we could do that, or any other questions you guys have. Happy to answer those too. Oh, neat. Oh, Jan, send me a messenger and I'll try to help you with that. I do have all those colors if you need them. Those bracelet colors, I know the part numbers for them, so I can tell you. Oh, thank you, Cecilia. Oh, that's so awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, you guys are so nice in the comments. I've just been reading comments here, guys. That's so cool. Thank you so much. And thank you for the super chat. So Claudia says more of the brick stitch. Yeah, so let's finish one of these together. Why not? We've got time, so let's do it. I'm going to pull out the row that I used to demo decreasing because that's not part of the pattern. It's just a little demo row. Oh, here's how to destruct. So you want to identify the strand because when you've done a decrease, you kind of do create a little bit of a thread barrier to just pulling it loose, right? So you'll need to get through. Usually I just bring my needle underneath and free the thread that was used to loop through and reinforce, and then you can just pull those beads right out. And for any other rows, it should just naturally just pull. Okay, so let me just get my pattern back going over here. So we finished these 2 rows in the peyote stitch, or sorry, we were working this direction. So we had there, it's symmetrical, actually, symmetrical top, bottom, left, right. So you could work this in any flipped manner that you want, but we did the peyote here. We finished this row with increasing. So I just need to do 2 more increase rows. And that's starting with a color A, color D. And so to increase, you'll want to go under the first thread bridge. And then come up to the second bead. So it should pop into position like a staircase kind of. Create 1 more color. This is color D. So now we're going to just put 1 bead per thread bridge until we reach the last one. Here's one of those. And I'm just following the pattern here off to the left or to my right. Under that last thread bridge. And so we have 1 more bead to add for this row, which is this little color A here hanging out at the edge. And so I need to add that bead here, but I'm out of thread bridges. So the easiest thing to do is to go ahead and just pick up that bead and use the same thread bridge we used for the last bead. It's harder to see because it's got a bead on top of it, but you'll be able to feel it. And you'll know you got it because when you pull, the bead will just sit like that. And so from here, it's just a matter of getting back to that bead. But what I like to do is go up through the second bead, and that's just a me thing, just to keep it flat. So this is kind of my own style. And then you can either go this way or this way. It doesn't matter. But our goal now is just to weave around so that we're exiting out of that bead in that direction. So we did this earlier. You could also do this. You can go down through this side and then up through these two. And this is something new I just started doing. Actually, within the last couple of weeks, I just discovered working on one of my other designs that this really helps. And it makes a very strong edge. You don't end up with, for some reason, okay, so like on brick stitch, you sometimes will get these little gaps on the ends of increase rows. And so the little gaps also cause it to curl. It'll curl like that. And this prevents that. Just keeping your tension gentle as you work, you'll get a very flat, in this dimension, flat piece that really looks nice, looks really polished. So we have one more increase row, so we can do that again. It's actually kind of similar, it's just the same colors going. So an A and a color D here. Oh, thanks, Suze. I'm glad. Yeah, that's the goal. So under the first thread bridge again, because we're increasing again, up through the second bead. So much easier to start increase rows, right? It's like, boom, you're done. And then we have color E, which is that beautiful blue. And two of the salmon lined crystal. This is a really pretty bead color. I really like this one. All right, so there's that. And now we just need another one of the blue. The teal color. Here's another increase. Color A. And then just, you know, feel for it. You'll find it. Thread bridge right there. Pull that through and head up through the second bead. And then let's make that turn again. Down through two, up through two, and what's kind of like a little V shape. And then down and up. And now we're right where we want to be. So we have a decrease now. So we're here in the pattern. So we finished all of this. And now we're here. So we have to create this row. And this is that decrease on both sides row. And again, it starts with the same beads, color A and color D. But this time, oh, you know, it does. Well, actually, you know, I think I'm just dehydrated. Von Monica's saying that, like, I'm getting the beads showing. I think I probably just needed to drink more water today or something. No. That is one of the, like, beader occupational hazards, I think. The bead indent part, not the forgetting to drink water part, I guess. But so I'm under the second thread bridge here. Got our decrease going. I recently learned that when it comes to hydration, that coffee doesn't count, and I would just like to argue with that, but, you know, I'm probably wrong. And so here I'm just straightening out that decrease row. So I want it to be nice and flat. thumbnail. There we go. So it tends to look a little better when you do that. And then we need a color C, which is one of these bright pink. And then from here, we're just going to be putting one bead per thread bridge. And that will finish the row in this case because it's a decrease row. Is this right? Yeah, I'm going to put a B here. I might have mixed up my colors on this one, guys, but the structure is correct. I think I'm just struggling with the labels today. It's also really pretty, though. All right, so that's the little indent. See, that happens. And I did get the colors wrong, so sorry about that. The next row is an increase and increase at the end. So let's just finish that one, and I think we're probably pretty good. We'll have done half the pattern. So that one starts with, let me show you over here, actually. So we finished this one. So now we just need to do increase for that row right there. It's the exact same thing. We're just going to build increase beginning and end. So under the first thread bridge with 2 beads, and then up through the second bead, and see it makes that little pop. It looks like it has a little belt on or something. I thought it was kind of cute. Oops. I'm going to back that one out. It's the wrong color. I'll try to stick with the colors as best I can. Here we go. Almost there. And here's the green teal. This kind of beadwork, guys, that's really enjoyable. And it's nice to just sit and create like this. There's the last one. We're sharing a thread bridge with that one. So it's going to pop out just like that. And you'll head up through that same second bead. And then just do that loop. I guess I should call this the V turn. It's a new method for me. I do really like it though. It's really going to shine on cylinder beads. Okay, so there's the increase at the end of that row. That's all there is to it. So that's half the pattern. You just keep building that in reverse and you get the rest of the design. So let's see, any questions, guys? I'm going to switch my camera back. And I am looking for, I'm just going to scroll for questions just in case I missed anything. Sometimes I miss them. Apologies for that. I'm looking down at the mat a lot. And I've got this big bright light, which kind of blocks my view of the chat a little bit. But the light, I feel like it really helps with the visual for the mat. So I just leave it there. There we go. So here's the up close of the design again. Button is really cute, isn't it? And it's reversible too, just depending on what side you want to wear it on. And when you have the bracelet on, they tend to balloon like a little, almost like, you ever see those peyote stitches where they call it bubble stitch and they kind of bubble? It looks like that when you're wearing it. So it comes out really nice. Feel free to change up the colors and try different gems, different buttons. All of these methods are going to work. That's kind of what my goal is with every class, is I want to show things that can become different designs. You're just getting like a more like the structural part of something, right? Like the structure for a design that can be made of all different colors and all different beads. And you could even switch bead sizes with this, just increase your lengths, right? It's just going to be more dainty. Like if you did this with delicas, you'd have a little delica center. You could put little gems and then make those bands longer until you get the length of bracelet that you like. Yeah. And so that's going to hold up another design that I just did. It's actually one of the prototypes for, I've really been on this brick stitch bracelet kind of kick. Well, here's one that I made with 807 beads in another pattern. This pattern's on my website. You could do this pattern and this bracelet with the summer sorbet mix. It would be really cool. This is just some stash colors that I had, but I wanted to show how cool it looks in turquoise, and that's the main color in this mix. And you can bring the bands down to 3 bands. So our design had 4. And the reason I did that was I felt like the button needed the balance of four bands because it was just it's a bit rather big button. But if you're going to work with a dainty toggle or something like that, you can bring those bands down to 3 and dainty it up a little bit. All you got to do is just brick stitch that 4 row down to 3, do your bands, and there you go. So feel free to like just really jazz this up, change it up, do all kinds of cool stuff. Oh, hey, I'm seeing comments in defense of coffee here. Yes, I agree 100%. That's funny. Oh, yes. Aw, thank you, Valerie. Oh, thank you so much. I try. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. I had a fun time too. I love to sit in beads, so getting to sit and bead with you guys is just an added bonus for me. Oh, thank you, Liz. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Oh, and I'm seeing Jan made 4 pairs of Halloween earrings, or did I get the name right there? Oh, yeah. So Monica mentioned Selene stitch. Yeah, Selene stitch. That, well, you know what? This kind of gives you the same bubble, doesn't it? A little bit. But the Selene round stitch, we should do that sometime. That's a complicated one. I think I could demo it, though. I get brave. Oh, thanks, Cecilia. Yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow, too, because I'm on Silver Silk and More's channel tomorrow at 1 p.m. my time. That's Pacific. And then I believe that's 4 p.m. Eastern for Silky Sunday. We always have a really fun time. We create really cool stuff on there. Awesome. So I'm just scrolling one more time for questions. If I don't see them, I'll just wish you guys a great rest of your Saturday. And, oh, here's a great question. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sakaya. Oh, thank you. Yes. So this whole design is all 80 seed beads. There's nothing in here that's not 80. The one that I held up has some 11 in between and at the top to attach a toggle. But that's just optional if you want to add some 11 to create loops. In this one, I just did the loops with our 80 seed beads, and I thought it looked really stunning. And I think I missed one more question. Oh, yeah, Halloween jewelry. So I actually have this dream of bringing back one of my favorite patterns. I had a pattern that's kind of like a Southwest Halloween. It had these little cactus guys, and it has a ghost and an owl and little creatures on top of the cactus just kind of hanging out. So I'm going to redo that one. It's already one that you guys may have seen if you've been with me for a few Halloweens. I did this one maybe back in, oh gosh, I think it was 2023 when I did that one. So I'm going to bring that one back this year in a brand new colorway. And then if you're looking for something a little more statement, last year I did some really wide band cuffs with a bunch of Beetlejuice patterns. So I might bring that back, but with something maybe just like little ghosts floating along. I don't know. I love Halloween, so you can count on me for some Halloween content. Awesome. So on that note, I'll just wish you guys a great Saturday. Thank you so much for sticking with me for this one. And I hope you make a gorgeous gem chat post showing your beautiful finished bracelet. And I'll keep an eye on the Facebook group. That's Gem Chat on samsbeadshop.com is the best way to find it. And I'll take a look and see later on this weekend in case any of you guys post anything. All right. Until then, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.